hey guys. Oh, hey.
Thank God it's another Ali Day.
Super Bowl Sunday edition in Pittsburgh, PA.
Oh, nice, babe. Nice.
Thank you.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
So today, it's a bit different because we're actually going to read an email that we were sent.
We did ask permission first.
Yes, we did ask permission first. Trust and believe it. If any of you send an email to us, a text message, Facebook, whatever it is, we're never going to read it unless we get your permission.
And on that, I just want to take a minute to thank all the soldiers, fallen, risen, and those who lost their minds or whatever in battle. Memorial Day, formerly known as Decoration Day, is to memorialize the fallen soldiers.
Right.
But we thought that it was a good idea to also acknowledge the soldiers who lost their mind, essentially changing their lives or body parts in battle. And so we wanted to just take that moment to thank them for their service. And guys, be sure to acknowledge the soldiers in your lives as well. Now, back to the business.
So here it is. This mail says, hey, so I need your help with something. I've been left with my heart ripped out of my chest yet again. But I've really been focusing on what's wrong with me that keeps allowing the same thing to happen in my relationships. So I could use some insight and help with one thing in particular right now. So I just learned that my anxiety issues are nothing more than the manifestation of my control issues. When I'm faced with a difficult situation that seems like it has no solution, I get severe anxiety from not being able to control it. I've been praying for God to help me to understand what I'm putting out in likeness to these men I'm attracting. And although I don't try to control the person I'm with, I try to control the environment as much as possible. So the first thing I have to work on is my control issues, which is basically pride. So I have to work on being humble. But I get confused because I have to balance being strong and confident yet still remain humble. I guess mainly humble with God. I have a lot more praying to do, but if you could help steer me in the right direction or give me any advice, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share your story with others. Hopefully it may help others. And I want to start. I've been left with my heart ripped out of my chest yet again. I want to talk about the heart ripped out of the chest yet again, and what that means for so many women. And from my perspective, I think that when you're single and you've had missed attempts at the real deal, it can be a little stressful when you get to a certain age in your life and you think that you're supposed to do this, that, and the third, or whatever. And so when you get to that place where you're like, yet again, the yet again place,
Right.
What does that mean for a woman? Because that is like that opening statement in and of itself says to me that she's feeling like, is this ever going to happen?
Yeah, that's a loss of hope.
Right.
Yeah, you get to that yet again place. That's definitely, it's like, yet again is almost saying, I expected this to happen.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And that's the first thing. When you go into relationships, first of all, honey, you pointed out something that you read online when you were actually doing work for the page Mr. Aim for I Am, where you said that another love coach had indicated that he read something on Facebook where it said women carry the baggage. Do you remember what I'm referring to?
I don't.
Okay, so essentially it went something like women put out there like, I don't need a man, I got a man for myself, or something. I'm paraphrasing, but what it was saying is you put that baggage out there and no man is attracted to that. So the memes that you're posting on Facebook, the comments, the things that you're sharing, the things that you're liking, this is all giving people an insight into what it is that you're thinking and the way that you see yourself. So even if it's something that's intended to be positive and you're sharing it, it's giving insight into what you're going through, what you're feeling. And that whole thing, what I share, what I post is not real. No, it is. Mm-hmm. It's an indication of what you think, and you agreed so strongly that you shared it.
Right.
So, just be mindful of that, because men are looking at the baggage that we carry into relationships. And when you go into something thinking kind of down about yourself and down about situations.
I like that, especially if, again, if you come off with the yet again.
Yes.
Right? you're wearing that yet again on you. You may not notice it, but you're wearing it on you. A man can feel that. A woman can feel that if a man is feeling that way too. So whoever you're dating, whoever you're in a relationship with, like that, yet again, you have to be careful.
You have to be careful
about that.
You have to be careful to expect it to go wrong.
Exactly.
Don't expect it to go wrong, because it could very well go right. I've really been focusing on what's wrong with me. No. Sweetheart, I promise you, nothing is wrong with you. This is the most authentic conversation that I've ever had to have with myself, and here it is. I said to myself, Felicia, be you.
Yeah.
Because I used to put on for all the guys that I was with. Any man who I'm with, sorry guys if y'all watching, sorry. I put on with, because I didn't feel like I could be myself. I didn't feel like myself was good enough. I was needy, I was clingy, I was spoiled, I have an attitude problem, I was a little bratty. You know, I have 100 good things going on too. For the purposes of this vlog, I'll just point out some of the things that, you know, I try to be very seductive, very sexy, very, I don't need a man, very, you can have another woman if you want, I'm good, I just slide off. And it wasn't the truth. The fact of the matter is, I'm dying inside if you cheat on me. I hate it. I hate you. I hate myself. I hate it if, you know, you don't compliment me. I need the compliments. I hate it when you don't pick up your phone. I'm freaking out. I can't focus on my friends. I can't focus on anything. You don't answer the phone, whatever. Those are the things that happen when you're dating. Before you get to the marriage phase where you feel pretty comfortable and confident, you're freaking out. And so Sharif was actually the first man that I was 100% honest with about everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. Look, this is me. And I gave it to him in like 3 months. Because I was like, I don't have time for this. At that point in my life, I thought that I was ready to get married and I wanted an authentic relationship. And I felt like the only way that I could have an authentic relationship was if I was my authentic self. And if you don't like me, that's wonderful. But let's get to that now. Before I give you the cookies, before I give you my heart, and before you meet my mama and my brothers. Let's just get the preliminaries out the way.
Right. And at the end of the day, listen, it's cool, just like we said in the beginning. Everybody has something wrong with them, right? We're imperfect, but in the forefront of my mind, in the forefront of her mind now, is God made me. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You have so many complexities to you. You're like an onion. The more and more that you peel the onion, like you get deeper to the core. That core part of you, that the spirit, the soul, like that essence of who you are. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with
that at all.
It's something wrong with your choice.
Right. There's something wrong with the choices. There may be something wrong with the mindset, like the yet again mindset. Those can be tweaked. But in terms of, is something wrong with you? No.
And then, I also wanted to point this out, because this was something that I was reviewing with someone else. The fact that she says, I keep allowing these things to happen to me. I don't think I've ever allowed the things to happen to me in my past relationships that have happened. I got wrapped up in whatever emotions that I had for that person, and you know, my mental state at that time. Can you agree with your past situations?
Yeah. Like,
what is allow? You know, the chick that you were dating and she came and confessed everything to you about whatever she did. You allow her to do those things? Right. Or did those things happen within the relationship?
Right. It's just been this wave of, you know, you control what's in your space. You control the people you're around, the people who influence you and this and that. I mean, there's only but so much control you can have over a person or over a situation. Exactly. Stuff happens at the end of the day. And it's just, you know, with the vicissitudes of life, you take it, you grunt down, and you just keep moving forward.
It's really, you know, as a woman who's almost 40 years old, I'm almost 40, and I have relationships with other women who are approaching or at that point in their lives, and they're saying to themselves kind of the same thing, like, why am I allowing? You know, I keep hearing that word, like, you don't allow hurt into your life. Yes, there are signs and symptoms, but that's the only thing you can do once you get that vibe is research it, you know, investigate. And if what your findings are true, then you move on. But you can't then look back and say, I allowed this to happen. No, you didn't. Especially if you stopped it. It's not like you married this man and you had his babies and you moved. You stopped it. So you didn't allow it to happen. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out, there's going to be a day when if you're single, you're going to have a husband and they're very demanding. Okay? It's very demanding being a wife. You have to cook when you don't feel like it. You have to have sex sometimes when you don't feel like it. You have to be you have to be his partner. You have to be his listener. You can't just have a fat butt and know how to throw a steak in the oven, and that doesn't make you a wife. Okay, you have to have the heart of compassion and understanding for your spouse. And sometimes when I'm going through my stuff and he's going through his stuff, sometimes his stuff trumps mine, sometimes my stuff trumps his. So remember that when you're on this path of singlehood is horriblehood, it's not always that bad.
Right, and I'd have to piggyback off that too to specifically speak to that person who sent this email. When you're coming again from a yet again place, you already put yourself at a disadvantage because you're thinking lower of yourself. It's like something's wrong with me and yet again this didn't work. And so for you to try to self-diagnose you're coming from a bad place, like an icky place. So of course you're going to look for things that are wrong about you. Of course you're going to read books and read articles that are telling you you have to control this, you have to do that, you're wrong if this X, Y, and Z happens. Like look at me. Look at me. You're the bomb, you're great, you're sweet, you're wonderful. You just need to look at those parts about you that may need improvement, that you can tweak. And I mean, just do it.
I just learned that my anxiety issues are nothing more than the manifestation of my control issues. I don't know where you read that, but it can be a lot more than the manifestation of control. Control is, I think we all want to control our circumstances, especially if we've been hurt before. We kind of want to guide our hearts. But I know that anxiety sometimes is linked to a lot. I'm not saying that you have mental health issues, but anxiety, there's a lot more traceable facts that are related to anxiety other than just simply trying to control your circumstances.
Right, and what we got from this email, what I would gather, and of course I would have to talk to you, or we'd have to talk to you, get more deep into it, but anxiety does come from trauma too. And if you're coming from that yet again place, that's traumatic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so of course you're going to feel that anxiety, but nothing's wrong with you because you feel anxiety. Nothing's wrong because you have a shortness of breath, or you're sweating, or you feel like, oh my God. Nothing's wrong with you. It's well, I mean, yes. Okay, so, no, but
something is wrong.
Something is wrong, but it's like, you're not wrong for having that, you know,
for having that response.
It's a condition. You just recondition yourself.
And this is when I'm faced with a difficult situation that seems like it has no solution. I get severe anxiety from not being able to control it. Honey, me too. Welcome to womanhood. Okay, I am like a crazy lunatic person when I don't know how my kid's gonna eat. You know, when it comes to financial matters, when it comes to whatever, I still ask my husband, do you like me? Why you married me? What's your play? Why you do it? You know, so just, keep that in mind. I'm praying for God. That's a wonderful thing to do, is pray to God, because the Lord can make a way out of no way. And although I don't try to control the person I'm with, I try to control the environment as much as possible.
Okay, so Felicia, in all her wonderfulness and all of her beautiful glory, has done the same thing. This is not because like control and pride or anxiety, anything like. It's not because of pride. It's not. You don't even have to pray about that. You don't even have to pray about your sense of control. I'm telling you right now, Felicia was very present in her controlling what's going on. But this is why. It's all about being certain, like having certainty. If you've had a mom who you loved and left you, or a dad who you loved and left you, or you've been in relationships where they just hadn't worked, or you just live an inconsistent lifestyle, people need certainty. And maybe certainty is like one of your highest needs. So it's not because you're a controlling person. It's because you need that certainty. And I just want to put that out there to reshift the mind, especially because you're thinking, whoever else is thinking, what's wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. Don't come from that place. Like, usually people who have control issues, it's because they want to feel certain. When Felicia wakes up in the morning, when she rolls over and sees my face, that reassures her certainty. When she gets up out of the bed and she walks in the loft space and sees our daughter, that assures her certainty. When she walks a step above and goes into our son's room, that's certainty for her. That's a love that she at one point didn't think that she would ever have, but she wanted so bad. And now that she has it, it's like, But at the end of the day, that certainty still comes, that uncertainty, it comes up, and it makes her feel like, oh no.
And it makes me anxious.
Right, and it makes her anxious because she's like, God, you gave this to me. Now, when are you going to take it away? Because I know that it's going to happen, because good stuff like this just does not happen for me.
Right.
That's all a part of wanting to be certain. That's it. Wanting to have that certainty that what I have is going to stick. It's going to stay. Another example will be if I'm riding, if I want to go somewhere late at night, well, not that right now, but if I want to go somewhere late at night and Felicia's like, no, right? I could take the sample, oh man, yo,
Yes,
she being
'cause I said
controlling,
no.
she trying to tell me where I need to go. Dudes who think like that, especially if you have a female, yo, you're whack. And women, if you have a man who's like that, you don't control me, you don't, no, he needs to change his mind, or he needs to change partner.
Unless you're married.
Unless you're married. Because listen, like, you gotta come from a pure place. I know she's not trying to control me. It's just like the person said in this email.
No, Sharif was robbed at gunpoint.
Although I am right.
He was
Although
robbed
I'm
at gunpoint.
not,
But let's say why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sharif was robbed at gunpoint and ended up in the hospital.
Right.
A couple years back, like
Right.
maybe 6.
Right.
And so when he leaves in his, I'm not okay because
Right.
I'm reliving that again. That goes back to the certainty.
Right.
It's not that I want to control Sharif, but I do want to control the outcome. I don't want my
to control the
husband
environment. Yeah.
to wind up in a hospital again. I'm walking around the neighborhood thinking you're cheating on me, because that's what I was doing. I'm like, oh, he ain't come home yet. It was like 5-6 hours. I was ready to fill out a missing persons report,
Right.
and this man was in the hospital laid up and beat to death.
Right.
You know, and so that scares me
Right.
that that's going to happen to you again.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm not okay with him going outside.
Exactly. That's true. And so, I mean, that's a small example of what you may be experiencing in your personal relationship. So, I mean, it's not control. It's not you having control issues. Everybody wants to control, to have that level of certainty satisfied. Bottom line, we all want to be certain. One thing that was said at the end of the email, I don't want to go any further, but she said, so I have to work on being humble. Like, I'm just going to stop there. Humility is so important in your relationship. That was something that I struggled with a bunch, and it's a daily battle for me, humbleness.
You humble yourself so much that I want to slap you. You come down on yourself a lot higher too, like a lot of the people that we're trying to reach today.
Right.
And sometimes that was a perfect example of you misdiagnosing yourself. You
Yeah.
don't suffer from humility. You're like one of the most humble people I know.
Right.
But in your mind, because you have selfish tendencies, you just want to throw a tag on it and say it's lacks humility, and that's not real.
Right. I have my issues with putting a mirror to myself and saying, oh, something's wrong with you, Sharif. You're not humble. You're not this, you're not that. And you have to have people who can put up a mirror for you and say, no, but this is what I see, and not only what I see because I love you and I'm your spouse, but this is what the world sees. And you may not have a spouse, you may not be in a relationship, but
You've got friends.
Have that friend, or
Mom.
hey, yo, we your friends. This is the
Right.
mirror
Hit
right
us
here.
up.
You know, we're letting you know about you, saying that there's beautifulness in you, there's marvelousness in you. Is marvelousness a word?
It can be today.
It can be today. You're awesome. Just at the end of the day, you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
And I just want to say one thing to someone else who's watching this vlog, who is in my little heart. You, my friend, are perfect, a perfect creation of God. And I know that sounds super deep, and it is. And my friend is super deep. But she's kind of going through something similar where she's questioning her past choices. And I just want to say that you're like one of the most sensitive, aggressive people that I know. And there's nothing wrong with being both sensitive and aggressive. Now, but try to turn it into assertion and say to yourself, this is what I want. If you are at a point in your life where you are ready for what you think God has for you, which is a husband or a wife, you need to actively seek that, and don't go into situationships open-minded, because there's no room at the table for you if you want a husband or a wife in a situationship. It's just there's no place for it. So situationships are not your friend. If you've reached a point in your life where you want a relationship, don't give up your cookies. Don't give up your conversation if you see that you and a person are not equally yoked or headed in the same direction or down for one another, or whatever the term is that you want to use to feel more comfortable and more confident about your future relationship.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Remember,
Today is Super Go Sunday today and tomorrow. through Thursday is...
No, you can't say Super Bowl Sunday today and tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Well,
sentence.
Sundays are designated as our Super Bowl Sunday. You awesome sauce people are on today, and then make sure to join us tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, for All Day with the Ali
daily vlogs. And make sure you tune in because we did some pretty cool stuff here. I love that you do what I do, baby. We're like best friends. You're like my honey. You are the honey to my sugar to my tea. Because you said the other day on Snapchat that you are my coffee. I'm not. Honey. You're not a bonus. You are the coffee.
I am the coffee.
I said that my little brother was the sugar to the milk to my coffee. You said I'm the coffee.
I am the coffee.
I am the coffee.
Yes.
And as always, guys, when something seems bad, turn it around and make something good. Peace.
Blessings.